What up? What up? This is Jay Spruill. This is movies, music, sports, and life. And I'm here for my review of the first episode in 2 years. I'm almost sure it's been 2 years. It got to be 2 years. Because if I remember correctly, the first season of Euphoria came out before COVID. And COVID is kind of what slowed up the production for them to bring us a season two. But I really liked the first season of Euphoria. I guess I call him my little cousin, but he's not so little no more because he graduated high school and started his first year at college. But he was telling me about Zendaya, so I knew about Zendaya from this before Spider Man. So it's kind of weird, as intense and graphic and just disturbing some of the imagery of Euphoria is to see her in this PG Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff. But I mean, let's just get right into it. So, opening scene, strip club. Young lady is getting uh manufactured, you know, in one of the VIP rooms by a John or a client, patron, whatever word you want to use. And just like Euphoria does, they just show it. It's just casual. And you see this older woman walking into the strip club. Now, especially for those familiar with the culture of that world in Atlanta, not only do a lot of females go, but some of them don't even swing that way. It's just like being one of the boys. You just go. It's just part of what you do. But as you're watching this, you're noticing A, this is an older woman. B, she doesn't seem interested in any of the girls in there, whether to try to date them or watch them dance, perform. Then you notice that she got, I believe it was a pearl handle. I think it was a pearl handle gun. And she's walking through this strip club like she knows where she's going. And I would presume to be the owner. And not only is it the owner, it was either her ex husband or her current husband, who is Little Fez's grand. No, she said your father. Oh, so that was her son. Well, see now y'all got me live on camera. Now I'm trying to go back and think because they didn't give us that much backstory. But at any rate, as he is involved in some form of activity in his place with the dancer, bow, bow, two shots to the thigh, one shot to the right thigh, and it was like that was very purposeful, and also you didn't kill him. So you kind of scratching your head like, what is this grandma thinking? Geriatric, Caucasian blonde woman thinking. Then she gets back in the car and said, I just spoke to your daddy. So I'm guessing that was her own son that she shot. And I can only assume that because he calls this woman grandma. And Faz had like a black eye. So I guess she punished and disciplined her son for giving her grandson a black eye by shooting him in each leg. So, needless to say, grandma is gangster. And Rue, aka Zendaya, is narrating this whole thing, basically explaining to us why Fez's life is so messed up. Um, we have a term called wigger, where white boys like talk like real black and real street, and in premium fashion, most of them don't really come from that lifestyle. It's just something they want to appropriate or adopt. But as with anything, you have some white guys and females who have had a tougher life or upbringing than my black blood. Even though I come from the inner city, my mom did pretty well. So I kind of have a mixed upbringing, even though I'm not mixed racially, a mixed upbringing and mixed viewpoint of being raised in the inner city and seeing some of the poorer neighborhoods that surround me, but I was never poor. I never try to front, from that standpoint, even though, and I got homeboys like this that will vouch for me and themselves to tell you we were in the hood, but we were not starving. You know what I'm saying? So I never try to front like that. Like I could, relate to the people, whose stomach was growling at school and didn't know where their next meal was going to come from. It's a big difference. But Fez, definitely, grandma was a drug dealer and taught him how to deal drugs at an early age. Called this little boy her business partner. And we learned that the little tough little brother that we saw in season one, that they call him Ash, and now we learn that the full name is Ashtray. And there's a scene because he's a cute little guy as a baby, getting washed up in the sink. Grandma just put him in the sink like he was like a kitchen bowl or something. And she was trying to get something out of his mouth, and it was a cigarette. And then grandma's laughing and says, he's just like an ashtray. And that was the name that stuck. So we transition from that. Rue is high as a kite in the backseat. They getting ready to procure some work. And if you don't know what some work means, I'm not going to explain it on YouTube. But Fez and Ashtray um, are going somewhere to secure a deal. Asked Rue to stay in the backseat, but Rue was singing "Hit 'Em Up" just as high. They told her to chill out. Ashtray was getting irritated by Rue and you know how much Fez loves her. It's a very interesting thing that later on in the show he let someone know, well, his plug, his drug supplier, that she's my family. I die for her. But it's a literally platonic thing. Like he never makes a move on her, and I don't even think it even occurs to Rue how much Fez likes her. But little brother said, "Hey, we tell her to shut the f up." It's like, "Hey, Rue, we about to handle some business. Like, yeah, could you chill out?" She said, "Oh yeah, I can do that. I can do that." When they get into the house, just pure wiggery. Like one of the shooters or one of the enforcers inside the house, he thinks that Fez is trying to make a quick move. He holds the piece up. Man, I'll fold your itch. I'll fold your itch. And it's like, it's just so entertaining when I see, people of that persuasion aping, the way they think that we as black people talk on the streets. And it's even funnier when you see that some of them can do it better than us. But yeah, the top enforcers making everybody strip, make sure they don't have a wire. And there was a young lady that was in the car with Rue, who was very rude to her, who was obviously heavy drug user, probably even more so than Rue. And she didn't want to take her clothes off, so bam. They gave a little ashtray a pass, I guess to not give any of those certain man to boy vibes. They say, man, you go in the, we're gonna stuff you in the closet. We don't want to see you take nothing off. So I guess they just took it for granted whether the little ashtray, as his brother could have a wire or not. And Deha refused to take off her clothes. So things got rough. And that's the one thing I can say about this show. This show will really make you uncomfortable with some of the scenes and some of the stuff that happens. So when he pushed her into the bathroom, turned on that cold water, like you really didn't know what was gonna happen. You really didn't know if Rue was gonna make it out of that scenario alive or not. And thank goodness she did. Um, so we transition. Um, Before we transition though, Cassie is in the car with Nate, and she ended up being in the car because she left her sister, and she's sitting in front of the gas station, and she's in the car with Nate. So once again, as I stated, the show always makes you uncomfortable. Nate is drinking and driving and fantasizing about what he wants to do with Cassie, and as someone who has lost a dear friend to drinking and driving, it's just unsettling to see young people, being depicted being so reckless. Even though I know it's a TV show, like I said, if you had to put one of your friends in the ground for making those type of decisions, it's unsettling to watch. But luckily, for us as the viewers, there was no death by drunk driving depicted, although it could have been. And they turned away from Cassie, and then we see Zendaya has found the drug addict. She has found her paraphernalia in the backseat of the car, and of course she takes it. So there's some big New Year's Eve party. I didn't quite catch it in my mind of whose house it was or who threw the party. All the familiar players out there. We reintroduced to all the characters. Did not know that Big Meech Jr., aka Demetrius Lenore Jr. from the BMF show, will be making an appearance. And he is hitting on Maddie in the hallway. And Maddie seemed utterly unimpressed with him. However, Nate had grabbed Cassie and he was trying to get it on with her in the bathroom. And of all people, his girlfriend, Maddie, is banging on the door saying she has to pee. She wants to use the bathroom. And I forgive me because I can't remember if Maddie and Cassie had a fight in the first season. But based on how shook and scared Cassie was, I'm thinking they had a fight in the first season. And maybe even Maddie must have whooped her something terrible because she just did not want to be found out by Maddie. And Maddie's just banging, just she wants to get in. So Nate made her hide on the floor of the bathtub and pulled the covers back. She was nearly found out because Maddie eventually made it into the bathroom. Couldn't find any toilet paper, so she just takes these people's face towels, people who she doesn't know in their house, takes care of her business down there, and then throws the towel. And of course, the hijinks commits and they falls on her face. Um, Jules runs into Rue. Rue lets her know I relapsed when you left me at the bus station, train station, whichever it was. That's when I started using it again. And I don't really like their relationship. I kind of liked it better when they might have just experimented with being with each other, and then it's awkward, and then they're just friends. I just don't like it for a full fledged relationship. It just feels overdone. It feels, predictable. I'm much more interested in seeing how these young ladies will both navigate dealing with males, but that's just my opinion. It's not to hate on that community. Um, Nate then exchanges words with Fez, and in a drunken, just cocky way, he says, "Yeah, I remember the last time I saw you said that you wanted to kill me," and laughed about it. Man, Fez beat the brakes off of Nate. Like I literally thought he killed him. And then the show ends because Rue, watched him dog walk Nate, and all she could say was, "Damn." See y'all next week.